What's up guys, it's Punchy. Today we have a game-shattering investigation to explore, and honestly, I wasn't even ready for the truth here. Game balance is always pretty subjective, but when it comes to weapon distribution, Deepwoken definitely has its favorites. It all made sense last week when the Lumensplitter dropped, which was game-breaking with its critical. So anyway, I was watching an Agamatsu showcase, and he casually dropped a bomb on us, saying there's 8 legendary greatswords, so then I actually thought about it. 8, be so serious, but I looked into this and he's not even wrong. So I started looking deeper into this, and to answer the question we've all been asking, yes, there's 8 different legendary greatswords in the game. We've got the Pyre, Crypt Blade, Kyrsieger, Bloodfouler, Hailbreaker, Railblade, Fractine, and now the Lumensplitter. Like, I'm speedrunning and that's 8. But that's only half the problem. Out of 11 heavy legendaries in the game, a whopping 8 are greatswords. That's over 70%, and why is this happening? Well, it's simple. Larger weapons tend to offer more visual impact and design flexibility for the creators, which is why they're so popular with the devs. But the problem is, a lot of them don't innovate much in combat and kinda just exist. In my opinion, legendary weapons in Deepwoken aren't meant to be overpowered innately, they're meant to be off-meta picks with unique synergies that reward creativity. You shouldn't just equip them and win, you have to build around them. But do these greatswords actually mix things up in any meaningful way? Let's dive into each to see if they're hidden gems or just flashy relics that don't do much. First up, we got the Ysley's Pyre, a greatsword that I hate to admit might be too good at being legendary. This weapon perfectly respects the player's build investment and leans into that theme. The M1's ignite with slowing flames every single time, producing consistent flame charm synergy and proccing talents. Additionally, this weapon has custom animations and a crazy model, making it visually distinct from every other greatsword in the game. Plus, it also has 5 different criticals, which is crazy and not the main focus, but the upside about this is that each critical procs flame effects, and some combinations work better with specific different flame charm paths. I will admit that the bloated critical count is 100% unnecessary, but even with just a single crit, it boosts your fire abilities significantly and, procs flame. Legendaries need to uphold a theme, and the Pyre nails that, utilizing almost everything you need on a flame charm build, except the light weapon requirement, which is, a bit dubious. This weapon is probably one of the best examples of a legendary weapon that enhances the player experience if they're investing in a build. Next, we have the Kyrsieger, a greatsword without a clear theme or synergy, but it does offer a unique playstyle that some players may enjoy. The M1s are solid, they're good speed, and have no end lag, but it's the crit that really makes the weapon interesting. The critical is a charged, unblockable laser that knocks players back, but it requires setup to land. It creates a new playstyle for those who enjoy, landing the attack, but that's basically it. The innate charisma scaling and charm status effect on the crit are nice, but they don't really connect to your build investment at all. This makes the weapon feel very disconnected from the rest of your kit, and it doesn't really feel legendary in that aspect. This weapon doesn't truly feel legendary, as it doesn't do much to innovate or synergize with your build, but it's definitely one of those weapons that introduces a new playstyle. This weapon seriously could use some work. Now, the Crypt Blade is a classic example of a legendary weapon done correctly. This sword procs shadow on every single hit, allowing you to fully leverage a shadow build, and that's what you need to be doing. It also steals and grants ether, letting you use all the talents that you've invested in. The Crypt Blade's unique crit adds a status chain that locks down opponents, preventing movement, and also does more shadow to shine in the fight. This weapon embodies the lockdown playstyle perfectly of shadow, and it offers both unique gameplay and synergy with your build. This is exactly what a legendary weapon should be aiming to be, something that encourages you to invest in a specific playstyle and rewards that investment. From a design aspect, I think it's a well-rounded weapon that helps shadow builds and promotes lockdown, which is new. So, the Hailbreaker is a legendary greatsword with a unique multi-stage critical system, but it struggles due to some balance issues. While its M1s deal frost damage, they don't proc frost status effects, making the damage feel like just regular elemental damage rather than anything impactful. Although that sucks, the Hailbreaker's critical system is cool and makes it really legendary. In stage 1, we deal 2 quick slashes that freeze the opponent, stage 2 does 2 heavy slashes that freeze them again, and stage 3 dashes and and slashes upwards to freeze the opponent and resets the cycle. The problem here is that the Hailbreaker doesn't synergize with Froststraw talents, and despite the cool combo system, I guess, it doesn't really feel impactful in combat. None of these criticals are actually chilling players and activating talents, but they do freeze people and they do place ice. As much as I want this weapon to be good, it just doesn't synergize with builds as well as it should, and it feels a bit out of place in the current meta. The Fractine is a weapon that has some interesting ideas, but ultimately falls flat. It starts as a greatsword with no special M1s, but when you land a critical hit, it switches to a faster, medium swinging weapon and places a shrapnel shard on the enemy. Critting with the medium weapon extracts that shard, dealing extra damage before returning to the greatsword form. Just by explaining this, like, it sounds dynamic and cool, but in practice it just adds extra damage on hit and doesn't really bring much else to the table. Also, the weapon is designed as an intelligence weapon, but it doesn't make use of the 40 required intelligence points, theme-wise, or in gameplay. It just does not do anything with intelligence. Honestly, to me, it feels like a medium weapon investment would be better, but also the medium weapon form doesn't interact with any medium specific talents. It's a greatsword the entire time that doesn't fit well with any build synergy, and it lacks the speed or stats to be balanced effectively. Now we're talking about the classic Railblade, easily one of the most unique legendary weapons in Deepwoken. The Railblade has specialized M1s, 2 critical attacks, 1 aerial and 1 grounded, and a bonus burn effect on both. I will admit, it doesn't naturally synergize with all builds and requires a flamethrower investment to fully make use of that burn, but its flexibility is what sets it apart. You don't really need to go into the flame, it really is just an add-on. What truly makes the Railblade stand out is that it's one of the few legendary weapons, if not the only one, that can use enchants. This adds a layer of customization, making it one of the most versatile weapons in the game. It doesn't require a specific build to shine, but it leaves plenty of room for players to experiment with different playstyles and builds if they want to abuse that fire. The Railblade is a fantastic weapon for those who like flexibility, and the lack of synergy, I guess, allows it to synergize with anything. On the other hand, the Bloodfouler is a legendary katana that really shines when it comes to synergies. Its M1s are quick and high damage with low blood drain, but its criticals really make the weapon stand out. The standing and running criticals apply heavy poison and deal significant damage, quickly overwhelming enemies. What sets this greatsword apart is its passive blood poison effect, which when combined with synergies like Hemolysis, the talent, makes it a constant threat. Visually and gameplay wise, this weapon is a great example of a legendary that respects existing build synergies while offering something new with, I guess, a slept-on status. It's hard to read, powerful, and fits well with the blood poisoning meta that nothing else taps into. So, if you enjoy playing with the poison mechanics or just using blood, this weapon is one of the best examples of a legendary that enhances normal play and respects very specific playstyles. Finally, we have the Lumensplitter, a weapon that just breaks everything without bringing anything new to the table. The M1s deal bleed damage, but that's about it, no visual or gameplay innovation. The critical is a straightforward AoE hitbox that slashes and flings enemies and is basically undefendable, but it lacks any unique gameplay mechanics besides, I guess, flinging people. There's no real synergy with other builds, and it doesn't introduce fresh strategies to the combat. It's powerful, sure, but it disrupts the flow of combat with a cutscene without contributing anything meaningful to the game's dynamics. While this is a solid weapon that basically nothing can compare to, the Lumensplitter doesn't feel like it deserves the legendary title, it just needs to be fixed. The Lumensplitter is literally a walking critical, and it does not innovate or offer anything new that enhances the game in a meaningful and balanced way. I'm sorry, but that's just my take. So that was my stance on all of the 8 legendary greatswords in Deepwoken. Does it make sense to you why there's so many of them in the game, or are some of these just legendary for the sake of it? In my opinion, I think there's 8 greatswords specifically because of Jujutsu Kaisen's 8-handled sword Divergent Scylla Divine General Maharaga. I have no evidence, but just trust me. Thanks so much for supporting the channel as a member, and if you like, join up down below. My Discord for the channel, the Deepwoken Guild, and the UGC group are all linked too, so check them out. As always, make sure to like and subscribe since I'm moving forward towards longer form content. Anyway, have a good one. It's punchin' time.